They said no before. Now Berlin's warming up, and Turkey's pushing hard. 40 Eurofighters, billions at stake. And a clear signal: Ankara won't wait forever. With F-35s off the table and tensions in the skies rising, Turkey is rewriting its air doctrine, with or without NATO's nod. This is VERTEX, and the jet deal isn't just about defense, it's about power. Turkey is inching closer to finalizing a multi-billion-dollar defense deal that could significantly reshape the balance of air power in the Middle East. According to sources cited by the Wall Street Journal, Ankara is preparing to announce a preliminary agreement to purchase up to 40 Eurofighter Typhoon combat jets, an order potentially valued at $5.6 billion.
The contract, which analysts estimate could be valued at around $5.6 billion, would be for a maximum of 40 jets, although the exact number and the aircraft configuration are still being discussed.
The deal, if confirmed, would mark a strategic pivot after years of uncertainty surrounding Turkey's air power modernization, particularly following its ejection from the US-led F-35 program in 2019. Turkey, a member of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, has sought to purchase Eurofighter jets since 2023, but talks stumbled because of Germany's reluctance to approve an export license due to concerns over some elements of Ankara's foreign policy.
Talks between the Turkish and UK governments are advanced, and a so-called principle of agreement, laying out the groundwork for a contract, could be announced at the International Defense Industry Fair in Istanbul. A potential contract with Turkey could speed up the Eurofighter Consortium's talks with other countries, such as Qatar and Austria, to close their own deals.
Eurofighter can build 14 jets a year and is trying to increase that to 20.
If Turkey places an order, Eurofighter will have to ramp up its production to 30 Typhoons a year, and other potential buyers might grow concerned at the prospect of being last to receive the aircraft. The UK Ministry of Defence aims to sign a deal with Turkey for an inspection and test plan by the end of this year.
A spokesperson for the UK Ministry of Defence said the UK was leading Typhoon export campaigns to other nations. Success at winning an order from Turkey would add to Eurofighter's workload after UK union units said earlier this month that production lines for the Typhoon jet in BAE's Wharton plant in northern England ground to a halt. Labour concerns there grew recently after the UK government, which placed its last Typhoon order in 2009, announced it would buy Lockheed's F-35A jets rather than Typhoons. BAE said at the time it was experienced at responding to fluctuations in demand. Turkey has long sought to acquire the Eurofighter Typhoon, developed by a four-nation consortium comprising Germany, the UK, Italy and Spain. But progress was repeatedly stalled, primarily due to Germany's reluctance to grant an export license, citing concerns over Ankara's foreign policy and human rights record. That stance appears to be shifting. The new German government has signalled it is willing to go ahead with the deal. In a joint press conference with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer in London, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz signalled a breakthrough.
There hasn't been a final decision yet, but we're on the way to a good decision that could also make a corresponding export license possible.
Meanwhile, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan expressed hope over the procurement of the jets. While speaking to reporters from northern Cyprus, he said,
"The British and Germans are approaching this positively. God willing, I believe we will receive our jet planes as soon as possible. In my meetings with Prime Minister Starmer and Chancellor Merz, I saw they also approach the issue positively, and hopefully we will take this step."
The Eurofighter is made by three of Europe's largest defence companies, BAE Systems, Airbus and Leonardo. The fighter jet market is one of the most competitive in international defense, given the amount of money spent and prestige associated with being able to produce and sell these high-tech products. After a flurry of orders in the 2000s, the Eurofighter has more recently been overshadowed by Lockheed Martin's F-35, which has so-called stealth technology. That has seen its makers trying to win domestic orders and those from countries that can't buy the F-35. After years of constraints and shifting alliances, Turkey is on the cusp of assembling one of the Middle East's most formidable air forces. This strategic leap is rooted in a dynamic mix of procurement, diplomacy, and industrial innovation, setting Ankara apart as a regional military powerhouse. Key components of Turkey's modern air force. Following relentless lobbying and weeks of optimism, Turkey is finally nearing approval to acquire up to 40 Eurofighter Typhoons. Previously stalled by Germany's hesitancy due to human rights and geopolitical concerns, the sale now appears likely, ushering a new era for Turkey's aerial capabilities. Turkey's air force is currently reliant on aging F-16s, but Ankara recently secured authorization to purchase 40 new F-16 Block 70 Vipers. Moreover, Turkish leadership has reignited efforts to rejoin the F-35 program. The domestically produced KAAN stealth multi-role fighter marks Turkey's bold entry into the world's exclusive fifth-generation jet club. Turkey's UAVs such as the Bayraktar TB2, TB2 Akinci, Anka 3 and Kizilelma have redefined drone warfare. Turkey's evolving arsenal responds to both internal modernization needs and mounting regional rivalry, especially with Athens' acquisition of Rafales and F-35s. With Germany's export hesitancy receding, renewed dialogue in Washington, and domestic innovation at full throttle, Ankara's air force is set for a generational leap. If current deals materialize, Turkey will field an unparalleled mix of Western, indigenous, and unmanned platforms, redefining not just its own security, but the balance of power across the Middle East.